Good morning, everybody. How many of you went to the party last night? The rest of you, that's why you're here. I hear it was a great time, so to all the sponsors and everybody who made that happen, thank you. But as was mentioned, my name is Tiffany Bova. I am the Growth and Innovation Evangelist here at Salesforce. I have the wonderful pleasure of getting the opportunity to travel around the world, talking to our customers and speaking at events like this. But Singapore has a special place in my heart. I have been coming into region for about 12 years. Prior to being at Salesforce, I was a research fellow at Gartner and worked with many of the local companies and, more importantly, worked with the startup community in this region. So being here at this innovation festival is really fantastic. I think that you have such a wonderful opportunity to change the way the next generations are going to use and engage and be inspired by technology. And that's really what we're here today to talk about, is what does it look like in the future with customer success and the fourth industrial revolution. Let me first define what we mean by customer success, because I think many people ask, what does that really entail? And from our point of view, selling technology is about enabling companies to be better companies, be better stewards for their employees and their customers. And ultimately, our goal is to make sure you are successful in selling whatever products and services you have to your customers. And so if you are successful, we are successful. It's always been our mantra that we think about how do we make sure all of our customers are trailblazers and are finding their way towards success from a business perspective. So when you look back across what got us here, we look across the four industrial revolutions that happened. This is the first time really in the history of these industrial revolutions that it's happened so rapidly. This morning, as a matter of fact, I tweeted something out that showed large companies from 1927 until today and how many of them are still around. And there was this rapid fall off around 1987 where it was very slow that those top 100 companies would change out from 1927 to almost 1987. Then from 1987 to 2002, you see a rapid progression of companies swapping in and out. If you even look back 25 years, you can see that the largest companies in the world were very much around the industrial side of business, whether it be oil and gas, whether it be big manufacturing and textiles or automotive. And now when you look at the largest, it has everything to do with data and commerce and the internet and technology. So now in this fourth industrial revolution, we talk about intelligence, the usage of all of these different various technological advancements, whether it be big data, whether it be social, whether it be mobile, and obviously the internet, and how do we harness those in a way that really changes the way we engage with our customers, but more importantly, the kinds of businesses we build. When you look forward across that, you have to think about, why are we going through all these big, heavy transformations? And many people will say to me, look, the pace of technological advancements is accelerating. Why do you think that is? Besides the Moore's Law side of things, where every 18 months things are going to get smaller and faster and cheaper, what we're facing right now has everything to do with our customers. I actually believe that customers are far more disruptive than the technology is today. We as consumers demand more from our smartphones, from the brands we engage with, from the things that we do with technology. And because of that, the brands we work with have to keep pace. They have to start to use technology in new ways. And so being smart and intelligent about the usage of that technology is where companies are really starting to separate themselves in the marketplace. But herein lies a crisis. We have technology that's very capable. We have an industrial revolution that's in full swing. We have access to data we never had before. We have the power of analytics to refine that data. And now we have this undeniable amount of intelligence at our fingertips. But the challenge is that we have it all, and we may not be using it. So using the intelligence and using the data is very different than having the intelligence and having the data. And I don't mean intelligence from a human perspective. I mean intelligence from automation. I mean intelligence from artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data. I mean letting the technology actually help us be smarter and more efficient as human beings, whether it's in manufacturing, whether it's selling or marketing, whether it's in customer service. And so there's this gap between what you're capable of doing and what your customers are actually asking you to do. Going back to what I said about the customer being far more disruptive than the technology is today. And keeping pace with that is not getting any easier. So we talk about trailblazers, those companies and individuals that are really setting the pace for what their companies are doing, what their customers are experiencing, and what you're bringing to market. And so we have people who are customer innovators, right? Customers of ours that are building in and around our technology and on our platforms. We have technology disruptors, many of which are on the floor today at the trade show, that you see around the world really pushing the envelope in what we can do with technology. And then we also have those global shapers, those that are really starting to tell us where we think the market is going to be in the future. What's really great is I have the opportunity to work with some of those global shapers here at Salesforce, and it gives us a very interesting window into where we think the technology is going and where we think those advantages are going to come from. So if you got the chance to catch Richard Socher yesterday, our chief scientist around AI, fantastic body of research that he puts out around natural language processing, around where AI is going. We also have a gentleman on who works here by the name of Peter Schwartz. How many of you have seen the movie Minority Report? So he was actually the brains behind a lot of those things that were shown in the movie, and a lot of them are coming true today. And so when you have the opportunity to work in and around people who are these global shapers and work with organizations like INNOFEST or the World Economic Forum, or even when I'm going to have my guest up here in a moment, join me, that is where you really start to see the power of how this technology can change the world.